feel like I've just been growing slowly and steadily as an artist and just as a songwriter, and being able to express what it is that I'm envisioning or feeling in a visceral way has always been my goal. So I feel like I've been coming just closer and closer to being able to accomplish that in a song. And you know, a song is a complex thing, but in the end it comes out sounding effortless, hopefully. And that's what I wanted to accomplish, a kind of effortlessness, a kind of a sense of a real conversation or inner dialogue that I'm having. And I think my new songs come as close as I've ever come to saying it, expressing it in the melodic way that I want to express it. They come as close as I've ever come to getting at what it is I feel that I really want to be saying. I've seen it happen where so many artists they almost become less and less of their potential is, because I guess, you know, that so many artists have so many people telling them to do this, don't do that, don't. So they start chipping away at themselves. And whereas I feel I've been free and I'm a very disciplined person, so I kind of have been digging more and more inside myself and exploring my own voice and how that relates to what I'm saying, and what are all the vocal possibilities, and what are the resonances and the areas of my voice that I can explore, and new ones that I haven't explored before, and it's so exciting. It all starts for me as a poem. If a song can't exist on its own, just on a page, without any context, then it's not something I can sing. I always start with the words. Once in a while, I'll have a melody that comes to mind, and I'll put it in my iPhone. But that's rare. I'm very word driven. So the words are super important, and the idea of spoken word is, I mean, the tradition of poetry goes back as far as anyone can remember, and song as well. So, you know, when you put the two together, it's just this very potent thing. But when you strip away the melody, you're just left with the voice expressing the words. And I think in many ways,
smoke trails, tracks, notes, and wails. And the wind.
The idea for the album really came in a flash of a moment when I heard some of his music playing, and I had heard obviously a lot of COLTRANE's music growing up, and just being exposed to so much jazz while I was making music in the 90s, and just learning from the standards. I always loved COLTRANE, but I can't say that I always understood him. And one day I was literally just standing in the kitchen, and his music was playing. We had the radio on, and it was literally in a flash. I heard something, or I gleaned something, some understanding. It was really profound, and it struck me like lightning that what he was saying was almost like language. It was a language I was understanding, and it's like this portal opened up into this totally fantastic world, and I understood. At least I felt that I did. I understood that what he was saying was very tangible and so unique. So I started digging into his music, digging. At the time, I was taking some classes. I was going back to school. I was thinking of going to graduate school, and so I went to NYU, just the archives in the library, and I started digging up articles about him in the microfiche, and reading about him, buying books about him, just reading whatever I could.
You had learned the art of holding demons captive, so you could be
My
free.
favorite work of his, which is called Africa Brass, that you no doubt know about, and that I had really never heard of people. People mostly talk about Love Supreme and all of his more known works, and Africa Brass is this most miraculous piece of music, and I just found it so visual and so palpable, and so I started listening to that a lot, and I decided, and then I was at Tower Records. It was Tower Records up at on Broadway on 60. I think it was 69th or 73rd Street, and forget. But in any case, it was the great Tower Records with a fantastic jazz section upstairs. And the main buyer, who I had chatted with many times, was telling us I think I was actually buying Africa Brass, and he was talking about the day Coltrane died, and that he remembered that day, that moment when Coltrane died. He was walking the street, and somebody, random strangers, stopped him and says, have you heard the news? And he said, what news? And the guy said, train just passed. And that phrase just stuck in my head, and this idea of the train passing, and this kind of connection with just the metaphor of the train, and Coltrane being a musician who I felt was just so much about movement. So that became the first song, Train Just Passed. That was the first chorus, the first refrain for Past. And also that double entendre with that word past being both something that passes and time being something that is in the past. So there are a lot of plays on words on the album, and that was the inception of that. It's like a jigsaw puzzle coming together, and it was really just became a research piece for me, and an opportunity to just dig into Coltrane's life, his music, and kind of weave my own interpretation of that into an album.
Beautiful. It's a timeless piece.
Thank you. Thank you. It's a very special album to me.
After you left, you took the wilderness from my breast.
My newest record, Light Sweet Cruise, what I did was, in lieu of a booklet, a lyric booklet, I printed up a chapbook with some sketches inside. And so that got me thinking to the future possibilities, because I really like that format of a chapbook, because it expresses what it is that I want to express, and at the same time it's also just visually way more interesting than a little booklet. So it's like on a conceptual level it works, but also on a physical level it's so much more interesting than this teeny little booklet, which really nobody can read anyway because the print is so small. So so I'm interested in exploring this idea of you know, releasing my albums in new formats, which are interesting and different, and surprising, and limited edition, and making these objects which are unique. I'm not sure what form that'll take for my next release, but that's where I'm heading.
There's something that you should know, but I